All right, so we got some soffit up. This is soffit. So soffit is the ceiling on the outside of a building. So we obviously still have to put trim and caulk and paint, but way more better than it was. So that makes us happy. We also built that whole well house today. What else we do, Mike? Oh, we got fascia out on the outside of this. That was sketchy, but you know, we survived. Yeah. Here, I got your back. Take a look. All that, we got all that done. Super easy, as long as you aren't scared of anything. All right, so I don't know if you guys can really appreciate this, but this is about 12 and a half feet straight down right here. And for whatever reason, Mike and Valerie don't want to have any rails at all up here or on that loft area looking down at the house. They said, no rails. They said, we don't want to have any kind of boundaries because boundaries are stupid. And I was like, are you sure? Like, what if there's a kid or like an old person, or maybe you're disoriented, or it's late at night, you just get up to go to the bathroom, or any laundry list of reasons. And then all of a sudden you like get too close to the edge and then there's no rail to stop you. Like, are you sure you don't want any restraints or any limits?
Maybe you know people that drink too much and you just haven't figured out a way to tell them to go away. And
right, that's your way.
That's your way.
But we had a good talk. Full disclosure, they don't really not want rails. And they decided that actually limits on your life sometimes can be a good thing. Like for a kid, if you just let them run rampant, you're like, oh, you're gonna die quick. But, you know, you put some limits on them and you're like, I'm gonna keep you safe until you know what's going on. And then after that, your limits get taken away. And I think God does that with us too. Sometimes he's like, hey, Buster. And he kind of grabs you by the back of the shirt and you're like, ah. And he's like, chill, man, you're gonna hurt yourself. So I'm gonna protect you from your own stupid self. And I just got to say, thank you, God, for doing that, because I'm a dum-dum and I don't want to, oh, sorry, that was close. All right, see you guys tomorrow. Hey guys, I feel like I haven't seen you since last year. It breaks my little heart because I love you guys. Now, we didn't do a whole lot today. We did thinking stuff, which always to me feels like you didn't do nothing, but it is important. It is important to plan ahead, because if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail, right? So me and Valerie and Mike and everybody got together and we all thought, where do we want lights and where do we want switches and outlets and things like that? We got our electrician out here and he did all some stuff. And then Steve Lux came out to look at plumbing and gas lines, and he's an amazing person. He had great insight on what we should do. Now it occurred to me, first of all, I just want to say, I'm so grateful that the holidays are over. And I know that most of you like the holidays. I personally don't. And, you know, I have my reasons why. Most of the reasons why is because I've been single for freaking ever. And so usually it's a time of loneliness for me. I stayed busy this whole season, so I didn't even miss it. I was like, cool, I did some fun stuff and I got to hang out with you guys, and that was nice, and I didn't feel sad or anything, which is good. Now, I know some of you guys did feel sad, and this breaks my heart. I just want to say that probably some of you, by the law of averages, feel like nobody has it worse than you. You had a pretty bad life. And that breaks my heart. But I just want to say this. If we knew what people went through, we would be a whole lot more kind. If everybody took their masks off and all the things that they pretend to be tough and cool and pretty and all that stuff, and if they just took their mask off and we all saw what we were really dealing with, if we put everything in the middle of the room and we said, here's all my problems, here's my anxiety, and here's all the things that I worry about, and here's what my soul looks like, and then you could pick anybody else's problems, most of us would look and go, man, I'm really sorry. I'm going to take these problems back and I will never say another word, because it turns out I don't have it that bad. And even when you think, oh man, but that person's rich, or that person's famous, or that person's whatever, you don't know what they're going through. You don't. And you know, more money, more problems, right? And that's a true story. Like, I had somebody years ago and they worked for me, and I was younger then, I was in my 20s, and he starts complaining to me about basically $10 worth of problems, right? And I was like, trying to make him feel better, I said, oh yeah, well I got $10,000 worth of problems, right? You know, we didn't say it like that, but he said, I've got these problems, like, you know, I can't pay my water bill, it's $20. I'm like, yeah, well I'm owed $250,000, you know, like it's a much bigger number. And he didn't skip a beat. He just goes, John, we both have the same problems. You just got a couple more zeros behind it. And I was like, you're right. And I'm sorry for trying to make you feel less than, because your problems have a lower number than mine do, because we are all dealing with the same thing. So be kind to people. Take this opportunity to like Be nice. And when you're like, I want to get mad at them, stop, take a beat, and go, you know what? They might be going through something I don't know. They might have just found out they got cancer. They might have just found out that their spouse is cheating on them. They might have crippling debt and be about to go bankrupt or lose their house or some horrible thing. Their kids may be in a horrible place. They may have just had friends die. We don't know what they're dealing with. So be nice to people, right? It's not that hard. Tomorrow, hopefully we're gonna have more progress to show you, because today was, and I was real lazy about making videos. So love you guys. See you tomorrow. Oh, hey. If you're anything like me, I think it would be a lot easier to make New Year's resolutions if I could make them for you. So nobody makes any for me, that's not the rules, but like I would make New Year's resolutions for you. Like, I wish they would be nicer to me and maybe just give me money for nothing and, you know, whatever. I think that would be a lot better. Now, today, it looks like we've done basically nothing, but if you take a quick glance around, you'll see that we did kind of something. So we started these steps. These are not the permanent steps. These are just we're working steps, right? Later on, we're gonna make some really nice finished steps. And then tomorrow, we're gonna finish the staircase out in metal and have floating steps, which is gonna be really cool. We also got started doing some wiring. I got my electrician out here, so you can see so this is how this works, right? It comes from the breaker box up to here. This is gonna be a 3-way switch that goes down to there, which turns these lights on up here. This comes up here to this light. We haven't done it yet, but it will connect to all these lights over here. Then it connects to that outlet, to that outlet, to this GFCI outlet in the bathroom, and then bang, 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 light, exhaust fan, and another outlet, okay? So that would be one circuit, and it's within our limits, and we've done all the math. I had my electrician do it and all that. So, Mike, you're pretty smart, right? He's shaking his head, yes. So did you realize that Mortal Kombat, the video game, was based off of a hymn? Nope, I screwed that up. Was based off of a church song from Finland. Did you know that?
I didn't.
Yeah, it's a finish him. I'm sorry. All right, so let me show you what else we did. So out here we'll have a switch that then comes out to all of these lights. Bang, 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 bang. All the way down over here. What else do you want to talk about, Mike? You got anything? Got anything on your heart?
Not really.
You got a heart still.
No.
Well.
No, it's long gone.
I don't think that's really true. What's a good thing to talk about? Forgiveness, we always talk about that. It's so important though. Being kind to people, so important. That should be your New Year's resolutions. Not, we don't want you to drink, we don't just smoke, and you should probably eat better and exercise and all that, probably lose about 50 pounds or whatever it is that you need to lose. But if you forget all that stuff and you're just nice to people, that's really what's gonna matter. Like, be kind, not just like, oh, they were nice to me and so I was nice back to them. So this is a good point, right? This is probably what was on your heart, Mike. Jesus himself said, if you are kind to the people that love you, that sounds good so far, right?
All right.
How are you any better than anybody else? How are you better than the pagans? How are you better than the unbelievers? If you are just nice to people that are nice to you. And he says, love your enemies. Well, that seems backwards. It says, bless those who curse you. That seems pretty backwards. Turn the other cheek if somebody punches you in the face. Walk the extra mile. I know we've talked about that before. And you're like, I don't want to do any of that stuff. I want to be nice to people that are nice to me. I see all this stuff online. Like, I reflect people's energy. Whatever they give, I give back to them. I'm like, that says more about you than it does about them. Sorry. Be nice to people regardless, because that's who you are. If you want to be mean to people, that's also who you are. So I wanted to teach you guys something about 3-way switches, okay? Because I feel like they're always confusing to people. So come on over here. I'm going to show you what's going on here. All right, so in this box, we have a wire coming in that's got 3 wires, right? Plus a ground. And then we got a wire going out. Now on the other box, there's another box. So a 3-way switch, let me explain what this is. A 3-way switch is when you have a switch here that turns on lights, but you also have a switch over there that turns on the same lights, okay? So how does that work and how do you wrap your head around it? You have power that comes in. Let's imagine this is the other box. You have power coming into that box and then power going out if you need to, right? And then you have this wire that has 3 wires in it that's called runners, okay? So then you got runners, travelers is what they're called. Travelers go between the 2 boxes. So you got power coming into that box, and then a traveler, and then over here you have a traveler coming in, and then this goes out to the lights, okay? So then whenever whenever you hook it up, you got your two travelers, and then this one that's twisted, that goes to the light, okay? And then we bypass neutrals, and then we twist the grounds together. So that's how that works. Now, Jimmy, you got anything on your heart?
You know, I'm just glad we were born in this time period and not any other.
Not another one? That's a good point. You know, a lot of people don't, I think about this, but you could have been born at any point during history, at any point during the past or now or in the future. And God was like, I think you're going to do well here at this time. And we all believe this is pretty close to the end of the world, right? So this is when it's the hardest. There's the most amount of stress and anxiety and things, temptations and so on and so forth. But maybe you think, I don't know, I wish I was born in the Roman times. I wish I was born during Hitler. I would have stopped him. I wish I was born in the Old West, or maybe in a different continent, or whatever in the world you think that you're like, I wish I would have been born there instead of here. Mm-hmm. And maybe you think, I would have made a difference there. I would have made such a difference there. Let me just present this to you. If you're not making a difference here, you probably would not have made a difference there either. I know that's a harsh thing to say, but I hear all kinds of people like, man, if Hitler was doing the stuff he was doing and I was there, I would have stopped him. And I'm like, have you looked around?
No doubt.
Have you looked around at what in the world's going on in the world right now? Because we kind of need to stand up against this. This is absolute tyranny. Now, this is not going to be a political video, but I'm just saying there are definitely things that need our attention. I will say this. A year and a half ago, okay, I was talking to somebody and I said, I think that this whole thing that we're dealing with, which everybody knows what we're talking about, is nonsense, which I've been very vocal about. And he said, so do I, so I won't, I don't think covering your face does any good. But he said, I'm in leadership and therefore I'm going to set a good example. And I stopped him and I said, I too am in leadership. People look up to me and people listen to me and I'm an influencer. And therefore I have to stand up against this. I have to stand up against it because it's wrong. And if you are following somebody that follows blindly, even when they know something is wrong, how do you respect that person?
Exactly.
How do you respect a person who bows down to something they know is wrong just because everybody else is doing it and because that's what they said, then that's what we're gonna do? Stand up and do the right thing. Make a difference now, and then you would have made a difference in the Roman time or Hitler's time or whatever in the world time it was, because that's who you are.
That's right.
But I encourage you to have the courage to stand up against the tyranny, to stand up and be like, why in the world are we still doing this? How long is this 2-week curve gonna last? Because it's been 2 years.
No doubt.
Right? How much longer are we gonna allow this? Because there's more of us than there are of them. And if we all just refuse, then what? It goes away. Anyway, let me get back to wiring. My electrician is. So, maybe today you're thinking to yourself, I wish I had some metal stairs that then had floating stairs on them. Mike, you think you can do that?
I think I can do that.
Okay, what are we gonna use?
We're gonna use my arc welder.
Oh, is that why the animals are lining up 2 by 2? Because it's an arc?
Oh man, not again.
You gonna get them?
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna get this arc welder, and we're gonna keep the animals at bay at least until the rain starts. There's one. Hey,
Get out of here!
How do you turn a fox into an elephant, Mike? Do you know?
No, how?
You marry her. Now that is not nice. That's not nice. That's not nice, Mike. Also, I just want to say that it is a lot easier to be nice to somebody when they're grateful. Do you disagree? Right. He's shaking his head, yes. So here's what I found, right? Like, let's just say that you do something nice for somebody and then they notice it and they don't say thank you, they don't really acknowledge it or whatever. Does that make you want to do it again, or are you just kind of like, man?
I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Or I'm like, no.
Yeah. But what if, like, after you've been really nice to somebody, then instead of them just being like, not even acknowledging it, they're just like actually mean to you? Then would you want to be nice to them again? I just want you to know I'm writing this text with my middle finger right now.
Solely.
Yeah. I'm writing it really slowly since obviously you can't read. All right.
Break out the arc welder.
Yeah. Put them on the arc. So, Jim and I were talking earlier, And a long time ago, I was driving along and I saw a billboard and it said, illiterate? Write for help. Do I have to explain the irony here? All right, so we're gonna do some work. Oh, hey there. So today, we are building a manual escalator. Some people call it stairs. So, how in the world do we do this? Well, let me show you. First thing you do, scatter a bunch of tools everywhere, make a bunch of noise, and have music in the background. It really helps. All right, so in this case, because we didn't want to be stairs in the front door, then we went into the loft a little bit, right? So up top, we're making that out of wood, but it'll still be nice looking because we're gonna put the same oak stuff that we put here up there on top of those steps. We're putting temporary stairs right now because they're gonna get trashed. Spray foam, sheetrock, tape and bed texture paint, all that. Then once that's all done, we unscrew that, put on the real stairs, and it'll be beautiful. Okay, so how do we figure out this map to make this manual escalator? I'm glad you asked. So we figured out the height from here to here, right? And we measured that. And in case you didn't know, stairs are 7 inches up for every 11 inches in you go. So we figured out, like, what's the distance on that? Come with me. Watch your feet. And we measured that. So we went from this corner, which we know is square, and we made a mark up here at the same height. Then we were like, okay, well, divide that by 7 and then multiply it times 11 and come out here, 154 inches or whatever it was. And then we chalked a line. Then we figured out where our angles were on the ground where it's easier to figure out. We made a template out of wood, screwed that together, and traced it onto the steel, okay? So then we got a chop saw and cut one end, but then we had to use a torch to cut the other end, and then welded the place on, drilled holes, and then we anchored it into the concrete and anchored it into the wood with some big long lag screws, okay? Something that you might not know, when somebody is welding, they always wear a welding helmet. You've probably seen it, right? Wait for it. If you look at that with your naked eye, if you look at somebody welding with your naked eye, you will get blisters on your eyeballs. It's highly unpleasant. I recommend you don't do it because who wants to get blisters anywhere, especially on your eyeballs? So if somebody's welding, do not look at that. Even if it's far away, like, oh, that's interesting, it looks like lightning. It is. It's an arc weld and it will hurt you. All right, so how does welding work? Basically, you're making an arc, okay? So if you've ever touched like, oops, these two wires crossed, like I clamped one and it got black, white, and brown all in one thing, it will make an explosion and it will make an arc and then it will like cut and also like weld together whatever you touch. But there's a breaker and so it stops it. With an arc welder, there's not a breaker. You're doing it on purpose. You're trying to make a continuous arc, at which point it takes that welding rod or whatever you're using, and it makes an arc and then it forces that bead and then you weld those two pieces of metal together. So that's how that works. I think it's super interesting and we're gonna do it. Now let's just see if this is sturdy. Come on. Let me just try walking up the stairs. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's not bad at all. Yeah. What? Yeah, that's not bad at all. Pretty solid. Did it bounce or move or anything?
Didn't move an inch.
No, it didn't. Safety first. Thanks, OSHA. Love you too, bye. That's so embarrassing when you gotta sneak up on me. I'm just over here like thinking, how cool are these steps gonna be, right? Like, these are made out of what? Like heavy metal!
Don't cock it unless you're going to use it.
No, I wouldn't. Hold on. Stay right there. I'll be back. So earlier today, we were chopping metal and grinding metal and torching metal and welding metal, and we recorded all the sounds. And if you want the album, you can buy it. And this is what heavy metal sounds like. So if you've got a record player and you like vinyl, then this is a great disc, and we recorded it today. It's a little scratchy, but I think you'll like it. So a lot of you, probably most of you, have problems with anxiety. Am I wrong? A lot of people are like, I'm so anxious. I feel like, I'm gonna have a panic attack all the time. I don't feel secure in my future. I don't feel secure in my day. Like, I don't know what's going on in my life. And my heart goes out to you. So sometimes you need like the antidote to anxiety. What is the opposite of anxiety? Mike, what do you think?
Peace.
Peace, that's a good answer. Yeah. Jimmy, what you got?
Anti-anxiety.
Anti-anxiety. Also a good answer. I think faith. I think that if you have faith and you're like, okay, and let me define what that means. I believe with all my heart that I will not die a minute before or a minute after I'm supposed to, because God is in control. I should have died 10,000 times. And God's like, your time is not yet. And when my time does come, nothing I can do will stop it. It will be my time to go. And I will go with the grace that I need to go, okay? And so I rest in that. I'm like, look, I won't go before I need to or after I need to. God is in control. Therefore, because I have faith, I don't have anxiety. It is the exact opposite. Now, if I didn't fully believe that, if I was like, I don't know if God's got me, or maybe he's on the toilet or not paying attention, or maybe he's taking a nap or whatever, like, what if something slips by him? I would have anxiety. If I sat there and thought of every possible reason why God wasn't in control, I would have anxiety. But I have faith, therefore I do not have anxiety. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but it's a pretty consistent theme with me that I'm not anxious or fearful about anything, because I'm in the palm of God's hand and he watches out for me. The truth is, he watches out for you too. And so rest in that. Have some peace, like Mike said. Have some anti-anxiety, like Jimmy said. And have some faith, like I said. And let that just wash away from you. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. We're gonna go see Jimmy play tonight because he's an amazing musician and a beautiful person. All right, see you guys tomorrow.
Aw, thoughtful.
Oh, so embarrassing. Hey guys, so if you're allergic to awesomeness, you might want to step back because I feel like you're about to break out in hives or whatever. I'll back up. All right, so sometimes I don't post videos for many myriads of reasons, and today's reason was it's freezing cold. I mean, okay, we learned some things today. I don't know if you can see this propane heater over here. You can probably hear it, right? That thing is blazing hot if you stand in front of it. This morning, we all turned into icicles. Now, we learned some stuff, okay? This is like 115,000 BTUs, and you're probably thinking to yourself, what's a BTU? Are you? Mike, do you know? You do know because we looked it up. We looked it up. Okay, so BTU, we hear it a lot, right? Is a British thermal unit, and 1 BTU can take 1 pound of water and heat it 1 degree Fahrenheit. Oh, do you know?
I got a question.
All right.
Why is it that they have BTUs on air conditioning units that don't have a heating?
The answer is, I don't know.
No.
Yeah, that's fair. Also, what was the calorie? T-Rex was saying yesterday, what's the calorie? What's the unit of measure on that? It's like how much it takes to take 1 degree. Yeah, I think it's the hot chocolate thing. We don't know. There's other things that you might not know. For example, tonight your pipes are gonna freeze, okay? And here's why. Because at 32 degrees, water freezes. I don't know if you knew that. Now in Texas, there's an atmospheric condition. I don't understand how it works, but in Texas, if you get below 70 degrees, everybody freezes. And right now we're like 27, and so we're basically just like at absolute zero. It's where everything stops. Even atoms are like, nope. So I was talking to these two atoms were talking, and one of them's like, I lost an electron. And the other one's like, are you sure? And he goes, I'm positive. So, sorry. So today, we did actually finally make some progress. I will tell on myself, we had screwed up something, I had screwed up something, and we had to make an adjustment, which took the better part of the day. And I was very frustrated. I threw a thing. That shows your impression. How did I?
Gosh darn it! Love of God Christ! Darn it!
Pretty much what happened. It was scary. I had to repent afterwards. Anyway, we finally got a template going, and we started welding the steps. We ran out of some materials because it's my fault. But tomorrow morning we're gonna get a good system going. We're gonna get these rails going, and we're gonna get some temporary steps in here. And thank God we're finally gonna be able to walk up steps instead of that sketchy ladder. Because every time I get on that, I think this is the day I'm gonna meet Jesus. What's gonna happen?
Hope you don't meet him whenever you have your temper.
I know. He'll be like, I'm not proud of you.
Boy.
I'm not proud of you right now. I'm not proud of you. What I wanted to do is be like,
two gosh darn it.
I want to be like this. That's my son right there. I'm proud of him. I don't want to be like this. Like, that's my son right there. Yeah, let's not talk about that. All right, yeah. Yeah, you can. Oh, look at it. It looks like. Can you guys see that?
How many BTUs is that?
That's it's got to be like 1,500 maybe. I feel like a dragon. Is this what smokers feel like? I think I want to start smoking or vaping or whatever.
I think
that's a good habit, right? I think it's good for you.
Yeah, vaping's good for
You get the cottage cheese or popcorn lung, whatever it's called.
vitamins in it.
Are they vitamins? Oh yeah, and it smells like cotton candy. It's delicious.
Nothing
It's healthier than apple.
candy could be bad for you.
Way healthier than meth. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow. What is that smell? You guys smell it? Oh, are you on the toilet? Are you watching this video while you're on the toilet? Hey, come here, look at this. These guys are on the toilet. They're watching this on the toilet. Oh, wow. Yeah. What do you guys, I mean,
Paperwork?
is it cold? I don't understand.
Yeah, it's cold.
Yeah, it's freezing. Look, I can see my breath. It's weird that you look at me while you're on the toilet. Oh, hey there. You probably noticed that we've got a set of stairs now. I really like that. No more ladder. Have to wait a little bit longer before I go home to heaven. So I'm not fully upset about that. I'm not fully happy about it either. Now, if you're anything like me, you probably have patterns in your life that repeat. Mike, you got any patterns in your life that repeat? Maybe sometimes they're not that great. That sounds like a hard maybe. Jimmy, you got any patterns that repeat in your life? He nodded and said no. A lot of times I think what people don't realize is that the common denominator in all your problems is you. You are the common denominator. Me, yeah. Not you, but me.
Yeah, you.
Are the common denominator. So therefore, you're like, I don't know why I keep having this problem. I'm like, could it be because you haven't changed anything? And you're just doing the same dumb thing again and again? And Mike's saying no.
Surely not.
Surely not. Just keep doing the same dumb thing and then hope for different results.
Eventually something else will happen.
According to the laws of probability, right? I can put washing my clothes into the dryer and just keep hitting restart, and eventually I'm gonna open it up and be like, no way. Like there's infinite possibilities, and I'm gonna be like, my clothes are folded and sorted in the dryer. I don't even understand it my own self. But probably more probability of like, you know what, I'm just gonna take them out and fold them my own self. And maybe in your own life, you got some bad things happening. Maybe you ought to change something and fold it your own self. You know what I'm saying? All right, well, we're gonna get back to work. We got some stairs though. Start on him. Okay. So I kind of feel bad for people that are building houses like peasants that don't have somebody come and visit them in their own personal helicopter. But I mean, I guess this is how the other half lives.